Hello, I'm Dr. Sarah, and on this video we are going to be talking about the importance and significance of balance and having a middle ground in your life. So another aspect of happiness that I really think is important to talk about is more of a middle ground. It's more about extremes. So whenever we go to extremes with anything, we get out of balance and we don't feel good. So sometimes, of course, we have to go to extremes to make enough money, to deal with, stressful situations, to work extra hard to get, projects done with school. But generally speaking, this extreme type of way of living where you are going is not ideal for happiness. And you're always putting your happiness off till later, another day. And it's about prioritizing simplicity, prioritizing peace. So it's not believing that anything is really so urgent that you need to be going all over the place. So it's a balance, because sometimes we do have crises in our life and sometimes we are called to go to more extremes. I mean, I used to specialize in crisis intervention work, so I understand about more extremes. And so the thing with extremes that I've noticed in balance is it's really tapping into what is it for you? We live in an interesting society where there's this idea, 9 to 5, Saturday, Sunday off, we have the holidays, there's a work-life balance. I mean, who came up with this idea? I think it was someone named Ford in the 1800s that wanted to increase factory work. Like, it's made up. It's not a real concept. I mean, it's real, but it's not inherently our natural rhythm. So what I've seen that helps people the most, and I apply to my own life, is becoming really authentic with yourself about what is extreme for you, what is balance for you, what is boredom, what is lack of engagement, coming up with your own rhythm, your own flow with these things. So maybe you don't fit the 9 to 5 type of lifestyle. Other parts of extremes are if one part of our life is out of balance, out of whack, we tend to do other things to be counteracted. They say work hard, play hard. What does that lead to? What I've seen, at least with a lot of clients in life, is that it leads to people that work really hard, they're chasing after money, they're chasing after this or that, and then they drink really hard, they party really hard, and then they have problems in other areas. There's no balance there. What about peace? What about integrating peace into your life? When it comes to extremes, sometimes people do this because it's another way of, it's like a distraction. When we get really intensely into something, like beyond what is comfortable for us, we can lose ourselves to that thing. We get immersed in it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing if it's healthy, it's just, it can be a way of coping with life, an escape. So the extremes, like someone who plays video games for 6 hours every day, it ultimately is not good for us. There's a major value and importance of being really authentic with yourself about what is middle for you, what is balance for you, what is healthy for you. And that requires listening to yourself and mindfulness and self-compassion and kindness. Not what you think you should be doing, but what really fits you. Why do we also tend towards extremes? I have another opinion on that I think it has to do with our ego. It can give us a sense of importance, something to talk about, make us more interesting, make us feel good about ourselves. And having a simple house it's not as exciting as like a mansion maybe, in terms of the attention that you'll get. But in terms of happiness, if you prioritize your happiness, middle way is really the most effective. It requires some stepping back and being humble that you are okay to cut down. You are okay to not be great. You have value anyways. You're already valuable. You already inherently, as a human being, it's your birthright that you have value. And you matter just because you're alive. So the first step I'd say is some humility. The second step, I do think mindfulness is very important for taking a step back and looking at, with humility, what is going on here? Is this lifestyle getting out of control? Why am I doing this? If you're drinking 15, 20 beers a night, why are you doing that? Having some humility and compassion for yourself to really look at the reason things are the way they are. And For some people, I know it's also fear. They're afraid to stop. They're afraid to stop working. They're afraid to stop doing the extreme stuff because they're afraid of the pain, or they're afraid of poverty, or they're afraid of whatever. So the extreme can be like a coping mechanism. But otherwise, if you keep going down the rabbit hole of extremes, it can take you to places that are pretty painful. Some other practical things with balance that can be helpful is taking an honest assessment and looking at your bank account, looking at the way you're spending money, look at your credit cards. With detachment, not, oh, I need to do this because I must have this watch, or I must have whatever thing. Look at it honestly. Is this getting out of control? So 3 things you can do, action items to help support you to integrate more of a middle ground in your life. Something I like to ask clients is, from 1 to 10, how are you feeling? So 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. So every day, keeping track, how are you feeling? And it helps you to become more aware of what's going on with you. Awareness in itself actually helps us to auto-correct things. And it's a feeling. It's not that it's, super accurate. It's just how you feel. Try to take a step back and with mindfulness, really look at your life. And actually, when we keep track of things, it is a mindfulness practice. It's a really practical, applied way to integrate mindfulness by keeping track and being aware of how much are you sleeping, how much are you eating, how much are you exercising. Another thing I'd say is prioritizing peace. So it's not just about becoming aware and changing the extremes, it's also about the value that we give to peace and thinking with humility, is this about my ego? Feeling calm and having some balance a priority for just like a couple minutes today. So to summarize, I first recommend rating from 1 to 10 every day how you feel. Secondly, I recommend keeping track of your daily routine, maybe journaling it, or just keeping some awareness of what your actual routine is. And third, I would recommend trying to prioritize peace and balance as a value that you have every day. If you like this video and felt you connected with it, please feel free to follow me at Dr.Spowart.com and follow up for more videos. There's going to be a series of ongoing videos for happiness so I can better help support you.